better for you.
Thank you.
I've tried many times to take the knife and like whip it into the hay so that it would stay, but I just don't have that skill. Lambs, and they get 3 flakes of hay morning and night. And if it's fine, like today, I feed them out in the pen. If it's raining, I throw it in there. Why is that guy laying there? He knows a bit more. And if it's windy, I try to make sure I'm against the wind, otherwise I'll blow hay in my face. Pretty water. That's them done. So this is second cut hay. Save these strings to make the shopping bags, which I'll put a little segment on that someday. Alright, so the wind is not in my favor today.
Huh?
Are you getting hay in your face?
No, I'm good.
now I gotta just fill with mineral. So I'm just making it loose and accessible for them. And then just water, loose in water. Part and the wait for the water to fill.
Yeah. What?
Are you thirsty? You want some clean water?
Who's this one?
This Pearl. She's over.
She's cranky.
She's been through it.
She's. What's the matter? You don't like the hay?
Looks like she's got a little limp.
What are you coming to look
Attack.
at? Nope, that's been sapphire.
Hot
Also, a tree up there. Probably 10. That tail.
I like how they come in here just to complain and then leave.
Yep.
rough. It's like coming back in the kitchen. The food was bad. Too much onions in my food.
All right. So that's this guy's done. Back on the tractor. These are the two ewes that we brought in from Wisconsin. So they're still in quarantine. I'll just keep them in quarantine until breeding. And Locala is turning out to be very demanding. The black one. Aren't you, sweetheart? Watch yourself. I don't want you to hate your face. So she came in and she was a little underweight. And we want to breed with her, so I'm giving her a little grain every day. So
She knows.
she knows this is the routine. She'll be scratching at the. There you go, princess. Good girl. What's it taste like?
How's it taste?
Tastes like salty cereal. That one?
No, I.
You just eat grain?
Yeah, you know what it tastes like? Did you ever eat All Bran?
No.
It has that same texture. And then that's Rosemary. And she eats hay like she's eating spaghetti. I just love it. Real. She doesn't like poke at it too much. She just eats it. Fills her belly with it. So she's solid white. And she's had lambs before, so we're gonna breed with her for sure. We're good with her.
Insanely large maple.
Those are sycamores.
These are some extremely large.
Do you know what they remind me of? Do you remember you guys used to watch that dinosaur movie?
Yeah, the lamp.
Land Before Time?
The Land Before Time.
Remember the tree stars?
Yep, that was fun.
Love tree stars.
It was like the symbol of the mother or something like that?
Yeah,
The
something like.
blessings mom gave him, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Or maybe he gave it to him when he was a baby or something.
Those girls are done. I'm going to bring over some water for them.
Get some
They need water in my...
popular tremuloides over here. Or the deltoides.
I can find the people with Boston accent head. Look at this one.
That's huge.
So that was Chores. That's my morning routine. Thank you, Rachel.
You're welcome.
What I want to do now is I'm going to video me doing auto wrapping for the first time. And I saw a couple videos that inspired me to try this. One was the Wool Wench out of New Zealand, and the other one was Urban Gypsy. And they both did this technique, so of course I watched it and then figured, well, of course I could do it. So I'm going to try it. And before I do that, though, I just want to take a few minutes to just, again, let everybody know how much I appreciate the comments and the likes and the fact that you're subscribing. I do have a goal. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, and there are benefits to me and the farm once we achieve that. So if you've been watching and haven't subscribed yet, if you don't mind, just hit the subscribe button. It helps me a lot. All right, so what this is, it's called auto wrapping. And the reason I want to try and do it is I have wool from 3 of my 3 ewes that were, this was their lamb fleeces last year, and I rued them. And so there's very little second cuts. However, there are little bits and pills from their tips. Just the little bits of just some texture. This one is a bat that I made from Sif. So what I did was I took all the flicking scraps and made these bats out of them. And I mean, I would say these kind of look like art bats a little bit, but I don't know. I'm not really a big art yarn person. This is actually my first attempt at something like this. So this was Sif's, and it's really soft and nice. So it just was really hard for me to throw this in the quilt bat pool of stuff. I also made bats from Hilder, who was our brown ewe. Again, really nice and soft. And there's nice longer bits in here. Not sure why I had so much waste. I think I wasn't as careful with my ruing to make sure that I kept the lock structure in place. And then I had saved just the flick locks. I always, when I leave these on the floor as they fall out of the bin, I always think they're mice because I'm a little bit nearsighted. And this, I have a note here, thank you, Jen, from the past, that says this was Frigg's black scraps. So these I haven't made into bats yet. And I don't know, I think I actually tried to spin up Sif just as, my traditional method, the short forward draw, whatever. And I hated it. I was really struggling with all the bumps and everything. So like I said, I came across these videos on this wrapping technique, and I'm going to try it. Now, what I'm going to use for the thread, there are, on the videos, they were using like, you know, actual thread or like these cool metallic threads and stuff. What I have is, I have 3 skeins or 3 balls of Jamieson and Smith lace weight. And Rich bought this because he was interested to understand what the lace weight felt like, because Jamieson and Smith will use their superfine wool that they get, if they get any, from the Shelton Cliff to make these lace weight yarns. And I was thinking I might use these for the threads to do the wrapping. Just keeping with that whole, you know, our natural color scheme. So I have a black, I have a moret, and I have a gray. So I think what I'm going to do, I don't know. I think I'm going to wrap this, I'm going to do Sif, because I love her the best of the 3. It's just so much more interesting in terms of the color and stuff. And I think I'm going to wrap it with this black yarn. And I'm assuming it's a center pole, but I don't know. Oh, come on, wherever you are. Agreeing. See, now when I... Oh, there it is. Is that it? Alright, well, maybe I'm going to have to take it from the outside. So because I had to pull, I'm going to be pulling from the outside, it'll be bouncing around quite a bit. And so once again, the empty pretzel container has another use, which is it's going to hold the yarn. Keep it from bouncing all over my studio. Now the urban gypsy girl, she put this thread right in between the 2 treadles, so that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do a center pull so that it's going to be kind of bumpy, which is totally against my comfort level. I've got the wheel set at a slower ratio, so the drive wheel is on the 2nd largest groove, and then on my whirl, I believe I'm on the 2nd groove for the whirl as well. I'm also using my Delta Flyer, and the reason I'm using that is that it's got this really big orifice. The fine flyer just, I don't think it'll accommodate the bigger, bumpier strands that I'm going to end up with. And so the way she describes it, and by she I'm referring to both of the women that I watched, is I just reversed it a little bit to get a little more leader out. I'm just going to start to spin to get this onto my leader, and I'm just going to glob it on here, and then the thread, you just, according to the videos, you just let that wrap on its own. Oh, and this is what the wool wench said. She said you got to pull down, otherwise it'll do what it just did. It'll kind of go up, so you want to have it down. So what I'm going to do, one of the lovely things about Magic Craft is all the adjusting you can do. I'm going to loosen my head bolt and put my head up higher to make it easier for me, so I'm not there struggling to. Now I'm just going to sit back and relax. And I'm going too thin. I'm doing my thing. Maybe I'll do. I was going to do long draw, but I think these. Oh, I don't like that. I guess I just have to let more go and just let it go and not be so particular. Looks like I have enough tension on the wrap thread, but... So my question is, what am I going to make with this? Like a neck. It's super soft, so maybe like a cowl. Oh, I don't really care for it when it goes up like that. I feel like I want this to be a little more, have a little more tension to it. I'm going to throw a couple more of the balls in here just to give it something to pull against, see what happens. So I threw a ball in there, and it's now sitting on top of the black one that I'm using. I'm going to just see what that does for, gives me any tension. No, it's just sort of staying there. It's not moving along with the... I just have to let big blobs of wool pass through my hands, which is totally contrary to my comfort zone, so just let it go. I'm gonna oh my gosh, it's a mess. I think I'm gonna, I was gonna tighten this a little bit, but let's just keep going like this and see what we get. I want it to pull harder. I'm going to change this. I'm going to go to a faster ratio. See what happens. So now I'm on 1, 2, the third groove in, the third largest groove on the drive wheel. And I'm on the third largest groove on the pulley, on the whorl. Alright, so I've been pulling from the center. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my bat and try and do it this way. Maybe I'll have more success because I don't feel like it's going all that well right now. Oh, I just had a thought of what this reminds me of. It reminds me of those pictures of the biking girls where they wrap their braids with ribbons. Big blobs go and don't worry about it, right? I don't feel like I've gained anything by speeding up the ratio. Andrew's coming downstairs. He's gonna empty out the coffee pot. I think not doing it center pull, I think is a good idea. I met somebody last year at Rhinebeck who kind of talked to me about these textured yarns because I made a Rhinebeck yarn. I had my rose sitting out as a demo, for demo people to try it. And, so the resulting skein of yarn was really interesting. I'm gonna find it and I'll take a picture of it and I'll insert it here. Because there were, beginners coming in and people doing long draw and people would come on and just do, all sorts of stuff, and it's all on one skein and it's just crazy and I love it. And so this girl came up and she's like, yeah, this would really be suited for weaving than knitting, because then you can really see all the variants. And I thought about that. Now I don't weave and I'm a little afraid of weaving. So, but this might, I was thinking about, this might actually look cool as a woven. So you could see all the crazy stuff. So maybe I'm just supposed to go. I feel like the thread is going faster than me drafting, and I'm getting it, it's doubling back on itself and stuff. Does not look like it did in the video, but hold on. That might be kind of cool. I don't know. It's funky. I feel like it's wrapping tight enough. Let's move this over and see if that makes any difference. I bought these hooks before I became a dealer, and I'm going to say that they don't slide as easily as the hooks that you buy from Magic Craft. This is not a Magic Craft hook, because I know now what all the hooks look like. And I'm really struggling to, I have to move it. It doesn't move easily. I wasn't out for a bargain, I just was looking for a replacement, because as you guys know, I was like a is that what I think it is? It is the wing of a butterfly or a wasp or something that got in my wool. Craziest stuff. Alright, let's just, I probably should have left it in there. Add the character. It's interesting. Art bat insert, insect wings. I guess the only thing about that doubling back is it is kind of doing it as in sort of like a pattern, because it's every time I reach the furthest end of my draw. Something happened there. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go watch the video again. And try and figure out if there's a better way to... Maybe if I put this on my lazy cape... It just feels like it's coming out too fast. Like if it were wound on a spool. I don't want it to spin this into a ball, but maybe, something more consistent, because I think it goes and fits in spurts because of the way it's wrapped on this core. So what I'm going to try is, I got this case of binder clips that, again, I use for all sorts of different applications. I'm going to put the binder clip, so it's going to have to feed through the binder clip. It's already twisted up. Before, it's almost like a guide, like guide on your wheel to get it a little bit of drag, and then I'm going to clip that to the so it's almost like I have a little guide that's giving me just a little bit of tension, so I have a little more. See what that does for me. Alright, so what it's doing is it's making it a lot tighter. Now I'm just going to have it hang down there loose. So what's happening is the clip is just hanging there. You can see it's kind of just giving it a little bit of resistance, but I don't know, I mean it's losing its random, and it's becoming a lot more consistent, which isn't very arty. It looks like a barber pole ply. So I'm going to just get rid of the clip and start doing what I was talking about before, which was just being a little bit more aware of the thread and not as focused on drafting. See, this is why you need the Delta plier, because something like that would never have made its way through the fine plier. I'm not sure I'm happy with the color choice either, going with the black. I wonder what the white would look like. I'm going to switch to white. This is an experiment, so what the heck, let's give it a try. And then we will call it a day after that. Just feel like I want it to pull harder. I want it to give me more. I'm gonna leave this one here and just see what happens, and then. Now what I'm doing is I'm feeding it onto the bobbin, more of a jerky. More frequently, like every 2 inches, whoops, or so. So that seems to have eliminated-ish the doubling back on itself. There, I just did it. I think that the next time if I do this again, which I'm gonna, I think I'm gonna spin the yarn, the thread onto a bobbin and use the bobbin, see if that helps with this tension issue I'm having. It's not that it's just that it's inconsistent, so it's difficult to predict as it comes off of the. Comes off of the spool. Alright, let's take a look at what we have here. I think I like the white better. Checking to see if I got something to tie it off with. here on the floor. Just use that. I gotta go out and do chores. It's just magical, isn't it? How stuff transforms, you know, you're hating it and then all of a sudden like, I think that's really cool. Huh? My goodness. So I guess then what I would do is wash it to maybe set it in a little bit better. Oh, it's untwisting. Don't do that. And then, yeah, try and figure out something fun to make. Maybe I'll Google what do you make with art yarn. It's crazy though. Now I'm kind of liking the black again. Oh my gosh. Bowls. Alright, well that was fun, exciting. Something new to play around with a little bit more. So, thanks for struggling through that with me. I've made a few adjustments. The first thing I did was I did wind the lace weight thread onto a bobbin, just a little sample of it for the experiment. And then I slowed down the wheel again, so I put it on the second groove from the inside, and then the corresponding groove on the whorl, also known as pulley. And that seems to have given me more control, having some tension on the thread. So I'm just gonna get started. So I feel like I have more ability to get the thread, the wrapping thread to look how I remember it looked in the videos. This feels a little bit more like what it looked like in the videos. It's not looking very arty right now. I'm kind of getting it to the point where it's looking like a regular yarn. So let's throw some bumps and bobs in there. It's a little dried out tip that flicked off. Toss it. It's probably a little too much tension on the thread, but I like it better. I feel like it's getting more consistent what it's supposed to look like. Okay, I'm just gonna let that big mouse go. Ugh. It just feels wrong. Oops, daisies. finish up with this, and then we'll put this on the nitty knotty and see how it looks. Sandwich, oh, it got a little knot there and got caught up in the flyer. This is very different texture from the first one I made. It feels really tightly coiled. Maybe a balance here somewhere, and I'm gonna find it. Too tight, but I don't know. I don't love it. Do not love it. What do you think? All in all, I think this was a fun experiment. I will try it again. I do believe there's a balance here that I could make something really interesting and have a fun knit project to go with it. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.